work later after the fact. That was weird. I hadn't seen that before. That was strange. I tried to press this button and then it opened up an app. And then it worked. It never happens that way. All right. Well, how's it going, freaks? Been a crazy day out there. We have I was able to get court documents in the UW stabbing case that we covered. Then we also have the Islamic Center shooting in San Diego. And then Alec Murdoch's attorneys spoke and answered questions for a while. And that was pretty interesting. You know, just seeing what they're thinking. But maybe we'll wait a minute. I don't know. See, you notice how I didn't put that it was going to be for Nancy Guthrie, so we get 49 people watching. You know, it's just so frustrating. It's unbelievable. Like people just that's not. I got to tell you, the Washington stabbing incident is way more. It's exactly how I was thinking it was going to be. That there was no connection at all, and this guy is like a serial killer type. Just a psycho. All right, it's really wild. All right, so let's just go through the document. It's crazy. And nobody's talking about this case at all. It's wild. But as soon as it becomes like, oh, wow, this is it, then everybody will watch the other people that cover it. But when I do it, forget it. Yeah, maybe, I think there's two different ones I had. First, I had this long, I'll show you this one right here. Are you guys here? Am I alive yet, or? It's hard to tell. There's no comments again. But that's quite a bit of writing there, but I think most of it's exactly the same as the later document that came out. This one right here. So I think all of that's in here, but there's a little extra in there. Okay. Do you guys want to go over this, or? Hello, everybody! Start typing! It's frozen. It looks like it's frozen to me. Okay, wow, there's somebody there. Okay. Wow. All right, so here is we got the charging document, or the probable cause statement in here. But it says, let me just go down to this part right here. The state incorporates by reference the certification for determination of probable cause prepared by Detective Patricia Hayden of the Seattle Police Department for case number 2026130611. The state requests a warrant and bail in the amount of $10 million. They know that this guy is exactly, there's something, this isn't just some ordinary killer type. 10 million is something almost unheard of. The judge at first appearance set a bail amount of 10 million in this case. There is reasonable cause to believe that the defendant will commit a violent offense and poses a significant flight risk. The defendant inflicted over 40 stab wounds to a 19-year-old University of Washington student who was innocently doing their laundry. And it had nothing to do with them being transgender. They just happened to be transgender. That same evening, the defendant stalked another UW student Listen to this. You hear this? They stalked another UW student across a multiple building apartment complex, eventually following this second student into the same building and same room, the same laundry room, where he would viciously murder Juniper Blessing. Although not a student at the university anymore anyways, and not a resident of Seattle, turns out when I went to his the website, let's see, Ben Verified, he's lived in that apartment complex before. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. He literally has lived in the apartment complex. And for those of you that are watching, if you could help support the channel tonight, that would be great. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm not covering Nancy Guthrie tonight. Seems like if you don't cover Nancy Guthrie, and I want to cover something else tonight. All right. So, although not a student at the university and not a resident of Seattle, tracking apps and video recordings have placed the defendant in campus buildings and attempting to enter private homes in Ravenna prior to the murder and back near the murder scene 2 days after the murder. Alone, this behavior is foreboding and ominous, combined with the controlled rage evidenced by uncontrolled rage, evidenced by the horrific injuries he inflicted on Juniper Blessing. The defendant is not an extreme danger for, I don't know if that's correct writing. The defendant is not an extreme danger for violent attack upon individuals not only associated with the University of Washington, but the public at large. I think it meant that he is not. Okay. Assuming conviction on his pending charge, the defendant's standard range of murder in this case, in the first degree charge plus the 24 months deadly enhancement, 244 months to 344 months, almost 29 years. Facing this amount of incarceration in the context of the strong evidence against him, the defendant definitely poses a significant flight risk. The state request for bail set in the amount of $10 million is reasonable and justified. I don't know. It doesn't seem similar at all. The guy that killed Lake and Riley was just a sex person. He just wanted to, he just wanted to sexually assault Lake and Riley. It's not similar in any way, shape, or form. Okay. All right, so we're going to go through this right now, as there's literally no similarities. All right, so we've got, other than a person killed somebody else. A guy killed a girl, That's it. That's the only similarity. This guy killed to kill. There's no other. It's pretty wild, man. All right, you guys ready for this one? It said, the following information was received from the initial responding patrol officers on May 10th, 2026. I'm just going to move it over here. At, looks like 10:11, University of Washington Police Department responded to a stabbing inside the Nordheim Court apartment complex at 5000 25th Avenue. And it's, like I said before, if you go to Ben Verified here, watch this. I found him in there. And then you go to the address history. And then look at that, 5000 25th. He lived there. It says 2015. I think it says to recently, but I mean it's listed down there again at some point, right there. So 2015 to 16. So he lived in that apartment complex at some point. Yeah, this has nothing to do with this, Lisa. What made you think it kind of reminded you of Lake and Riley? It's just such a unrelated. I mean, it's more like a Koberger, this guy. I mean, this is This is some sick shit here. I mean, like, listen to this. So we already know he stabbed her 40 times. On May 10th, 2026, at 10:11 hours, University of Washington Police Department responded to a stabbing inside the Nordheim Court apartment complex at 5025th Avenue Northeast in King County, Washington. Nordheim Court is privately managed, but contracts with the University of Washington for student housing. So, like, they have a contract with the University of Washington for student housing. Officers found an unconscious and unresponsive victim down on the floor in the first floor laundry room of Building 7. So Building 7 is this one. This is exactly what we were looking at the other day. Remember when I said, I bet the laundry room's right there. So you go down here, and inside of that door right there, and then to the left is the laundry room. So the laundry room's right in there, inside the door to the left. But hey, anybody, any chance you guys could help support the channel tonight? We have we are at 00000 all the way across the board. I apologize that we're not doing Nancy Guthrie tonight, but the channel still needs the support from the people watching, regardless of whatever we're covering. All right, this is, true crime is true crime. It's not 24/7 Nancy Guthrie. We have covered it. I'll probably get back to it pretty soon here again another day, but today I want to do something different because we've been looking at this and it's actually interesting. So pretend it's interesting and help support the channel. Thank you. So anyways, it says, so it was the laundry room in Building 7. Seattle fire medics determined the victim was deceased. The victim had what appeared to be multiple stab wounds to the left neck and hands. Due to the amount of blood around the victim's head and upper torso, the exact nature of the victim's injuries could not be determined at the scene. The autopsy was conducted on May 11th and 12th by King County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. J. Matthew. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake. But what makes it seem similar to you, Lisa? I mean, I'm waiting for your reply. I haven't had one yet. Thanks, Alley K. The autopsy was conducted on May 11th and 12th by King County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Matthew Lacey. Dr. Lacey found that the victim had suffered over 40 stab wounds to the head, neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. See, that's more like a Koberger. And had died from blood loss therefrom. Manner of death was homicide. All right, so then this is... Oh, yeah? Well, I thought in that one he just kind of waited around for somebody, and then he followed her specifically. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess that element. But anyway, Seattle PD responded at 10:43 p.m. The victim had been identified as Michael Blessing, which is actually a male. It's a transgender female, but they're actually referring to this person as a he, which they should in this document because they are, in fact, a biological male. The victim had been identified as Michael Blessing, who goes by the name Juniper Blessing. Blessing was a tenant at the Nordheim Court building. Now, if you're wondering, I think I do have... Let's see, hold on. Let me open up. You can see what individuals look like. Yeah. So this is the victim right here. It's kind of a small picture, but that's the victim. And this is the guy right here in another small image. He's the killer. I mean, absolute nut job here. You'll see here in a minute. I'm just reading the whole document as we do over here so that we don't miss anything. Hey, thanks, Carol Silva. So let's see. At the 911 complainant, so there's different abbreviations they give people. So the victim was Juniper Blessing. Blessing was a tenant at Nordheim Court building, so she lived in building number 8. So if we go up in the air here and we look, this is where she lived, in this building right here, this one. So then she went over to do laundry in building number 7, because that's where the laundry room is, right down there. The 911 complainant, EH, so they go by EH, whose name is known to law enforcement and is a resident at Nordham Court, told officers she was in the weight room in building 2 earlier in the evening. And then at 10:10 hours, she went to building 7. Building 7 is a lockout which requires a numerical code to enter it. All right, so let's do that. She's over here at the weight room right here. This is the person who called 911. So this is the exercise room. I'm sure that's the weight room. And then from there, walked down and went over to building 7 right here. Building 7 is in... We could actually do the walk if you want. I mean, we can just... It gives you a total better, way better texture if you're just sort of like... All right, she's walking down. This lady, whoever this EH is, comes down like this. And then has to go down these stairs here, which I don't know if it lets you do that on here, but there's stairs that you go down right there. And then you make your way down to the bottom, and you can see it. We can go down to the bottom. So you just came down these stairs and then went into that room right there. All right, guys, if you can please help support the channel, that would be fantastic. At 10 hours, she went down. She went to building 7. Building 7 is in a lockout. You can see the code keypad right there. See that? So you need a keypad. And it's on lockout, which required a numeric code to enter. EH said, as she entered the door on the east side of the building, and that's exactly what this is. If you go up in the air, rotate it correctly. This is building 7, and that entrance is on the east side right there. So as she entered the door on the east side of the building, she was passed by a man exiting the entry room. EH held the exterior door for the man, who thanked EH for doing so. EH then proceeded to the laundry room, which is on the south side of the entry room. So you enter in this door, and then the laundry room must be right there on the first floor down there. All right, a second. Access. Let's see. Then it says EH then proceeded to the laundry room door, which is on the south side of the entry room. And then it says access through the laundry room door requires an apartment proxy card, although EH said that she believed the laundry room door's lock had been non-functional. So the laundry room's door wasn't functional. EH said she entered the laundry room and saw the victim on the floor covered in blood. Hey, there's Eloquent Pirate. The trial right now is going on for the initial burglary attempt, or burglary, I guess, of the Mercedes Vega case. And I've watched a couple days of it. I have it on in the background, but it's been going on for 7 days, and it's not streaming or anything like that. So there you go. Well, hey, welcome again. Thank you. But yeah, I just was talking to her earlier. Sounds like it's going pretty good. All right, so let me keep going here. He had said he entered the laundry room and saw the victim on the floor covered in blood. And then she called 911. Are you guys following along pretty good here? He said she believed she had seen the male who was exiting Building 7 earlier in the evening, possibly around 9:30, somewhere inside the apartment complex. She said she possibly saw him in the laundry room next to the weight room in Building 2, so I guess there's another laundry room over there. But she was not certain, and She is not certain, and she had seen him somewhere else inside the complex. She described the male as a mixed race in his 20s with short black hair in tight curls, with a beard, wearing a navy blue vest and a plaid long-sleeve shirt underneath, which was possibly white with blue and green. And then University of Washington police officer number 359 interviewed another resident at the apartment complex, and that's witness YJ, whose real name is known to law enforcement. YJ resides in Building 7, so they live in this building here. And then let's see, and then it says at approximately 10 o'clock at night, YJ was dropped off by a friend at Nordheim Court on 25th Avenue. So they were dropped off right here on 25th Avenue. Now look how creepy this one is, though. Are you guys following along? I want to make sure that you're actually paying attention, because it's an interesting case, okay? And you guys never seem to even make any comments related to anything that we're talking about. So if you can, when you're watching this, if you could please think, wow, and let's have some, dialogue related to what we're talking about. I think that'd be great. As she was walking back to her apartment, so she was dropped off right here, and she was making her way to Building 7, okay? She passed Building 2. So as she was walking to her apartment, she passed Building 2. This is Building 2 right here. So she's walking this direction. She's passing Building 2. And where she noticed a subject, she noticed a subject began following her from behind. This is a totally different person, YJ. The subject continued to follow her and got even closer as she was walking down a set of stairs to the ground level. So isn't that interesting? That's the same set of stairs that we were just talking about. And then down to the ground level. So he's following her from behind right there. Hey, look at that. We got a Timothy Cecil challenge in here, you guys. Man, you guys got to make that for Timothy Cecil. All right. So he said he'll do 5. He'll give 5 memberships if 5 of you give 1 membership. All right. There you go. Can you guys do that tonight for Timothy Cecil and the channel? That would be great. But look at this nut job. I mean, he's nothing like somebody that was disgruntled or was in a relationship with this transgender woman, and he just went after her. That's not what happened here at all. This guy is like a would-be serial killer type, just absolute crazy nut job. Yeah, so again, let's just go back here. She was dropped off right here. Now, YJ, and then walked this direction, and then right around in this area, she noticed he was following him. And then it said she made it to the stairs, to the ground level, but he got even closer when he was at the stairs, Building 7, and then used her card to get access. So let me just go. The subject continued to follow her and got even closer as she was walking down the set of stairs to the ground level of Building 7. She then used her card to access to the east entrance of Building 7 and the laundry room. The same laundry room where the victim Blessing would later be found. The individual followed her into the laundry room. YJ stated she did not see any other person inside the laundry room beside the subject who had followed her. YJ stated the subject told her he was waiting for his laundry. The subject exited the building, so he told her that the same guy, the subject here, he said that. But hey, did you guys see that? We have a Timothy Cecil challenge in here. We have 2 gifted memberships. We need 3 more. All right, I don't want to have to shepherd this one through. It seems like it should be a no-brainer. We've got Timothy Cecil up there. It's It's unreal. All right, let's see. Let's put this one open here. This is him in the laundry room, by the way. That's what these shots are. So this is the nut job here. This is a camera. You know, it's looking right at him, and then you can see the laundry room back there. And she saw him in there. All right, guys, we need 3 more gifted memberships. We're just going to pause it right here until we get those and get the ball rolling. All right, there's one by Shelly Pink. Very cool. Thank you. We got Gen 7 got a free membership. Just need 2 more now. Let's see. The individual followed her into the laundry room. YJ stated she did not see any other person inside the laundry room beside the subject who had followed her. YJ stated the subject told her he was waiting for his laundry. So that guy that you just saw, he told her, oh yeah, I'm just waiting for my laundry. The subject exited the building. YJ also exited the building. YJ then went back to her apartment and the subject stopped following her. YJ described the subject as a black male, possibly mixed race, 5'7" to 5'9", 150 pounds, with short black hair, no facial hair, wearing a dark colored sweater and light blue jeans. Hey, thanks so much there. I'll see you later on. Thank you. And then Seattle Police Department Detective Rory spoke to a resident. Well, let me see. Did I keep? Yeah, so 5'7". He spoke to a resident from Northam Court who resides in Building 6. So Building 6 is this one right over here. This one. And went to, let's see, Building 6. JG are the initials, whose name is known to law enforcement. JG had ordered food just before 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then he left Building 6 and went to pick it up. As he passed Building 7, so imagine he's coming out. So this is Building 7 right here. So I guess if we go down, this might be on that upper level, though. That's the thing. You know, we're on Building 7 right now. So I guess he could have came down right there and then past Building 7. All right, guys, we need 1 more, you guys. Shepherding away. As he passed Building 7, a male standing in Building 7 caught his attention. The male was standing at the window of the first floor entry door. Isn't that crazy? I mean, let's just see what that guy would have seen. We can actually see it all. I can't even believe Street View got inside this complex like that. They never did. There was somebody wearing the backpack Street View deal. So that means he walked by and he saw him standing right there. That creepy look, you know? This guy. He sees him through that window. The male was standing at the window of the first floor entry door to Building 7, looking out from inside the closed door. Hey, thanks, Karen. There you go. We did it. All right. Timothy Cecil's challenge was met, but boy, that sure took a while for being the first one. So he's looking out from inside the closed door. Just what you're looking at right there. The male looked at JG and then turned around and went back towards the laundry room. So from inside here, you could see him look at him and then turn around and then went that direction into the laundry room. And then JG described the male as a light-skinned black or Asian male wearing a long-sleeve shirt. The shirt was dark blue, black, or gray. Detectives noted there were red, possible blood smears on the outer side of the laundry room door inside the entry room of Building 7. So there was blood all over the place there and inside, right inside there. Personnel from SPD Latent Unit arrived to look for and collect any fingerprints. Interior building access inside the apartment complex requires the use of an electric key or proxy card. Property management, I wonder if he followed really close behind that one girl and then just sort of snuck in on her access. So it said, interior building access inside the apartment complex requires the use of an electronic key or proxy card. Property management from Nordheim Court and surrounding businesses have provided video from the area and around Nordheim Court. In the video labeled 5/10/2026, let's see, Nordheim Court entry main. So listen, so that video that we were just looking at, these images right here. Let's see if I can, yeah, let's leave that on the screen right there. Okay, let me go back to the beginning of this part here. I think I don't know if Timothy left. Oh, you sent a cash app. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Timothy Cecil. See, detectives noted there were red possible blood smears on the outer side of the laundry room door inside the entry of Building 7. Personnel from, this is later so that it's not connected to JG seeing him there. He may, I don't know if that was before he killed or after, when JG was walking from building, was it building 2 or 6? No, building 6, past building 7, and then saw him looking through the window. And the next one is detectives noted there were red, possibly blood smears on the outer side of the laundry room inside the entry of Building 7. Personnel from the SPD Latent Unit arrived to look for and collect any fingerprints. Interior building access inside the apartment complex requires the use of an electronic key or proxy card. Property management from Nordheim Court and surrounding businesses have provided video from the area in and around Nordheim Court. In the video labeled 5/10/2026, Nordheim Court entry main, victim blessing is seen. So look how creepy all this is. So the one that was stabbed 40 times. It says victim blessing is seen exiting Building 8 at 8:54 p.m. So I guess if we go up in the air, Building 8 is the one, again, right over here. So she's actually seen on camera, or he is seen on camera, leaving Building 8 at 8:54 with bags on each shoulder, which appeared to contain clothing and a jug of laundry detergent. Victim blessing returns to Building 8 at approximately 9:02. That means the laundry has probably already been put in, it's been turned on, with an emptier looking bag that has something of weight to it, so probably the laundry. And so she returns back to the detergent is what I meant to say. Yeah, so it's like there's nothing in the bag except maybe the detergent. And she returns at 9:02 p.m. with an emptier looking bag that was something of weight inside, possibly the detergent jug. There you go. Blessing is seen looking at a cell phone. So she's looking at her cell phone. The victim, Blessing, returns to the lobby and exits the building 8 at approximately 9:55. So now she's going over to check on her laundry, with the same bag appearing empty now, worn in a cross-shoulder style, with one arm looped through the handle. Victim Blessing appears to be typing on a cell phone. A Wyze brand surveillance camera was mounted in the corner of the laundry room. So there's a surveillance camera in the corner of the laundry room, to the right of and towards the top of the door as you enter the laundry room. The power cord to the camera, listen to this, was disconnected when examined by detectives. Video from the camera was reviewed on scene by the on-call Seattle Police Department video specialist. The last video uploaded from the device to the cloud was from approximately 3 p.m. on 5/10, so that's way earlier, right? So that's 7 hours earlier. On scene, efforts were made to power on the camera to see if it would upload additional video. It did not. After evidentiary collection on the physical camera and cord, the camera was examined by said video specialist, the same one mentioned. The video specialist was able to recover additional video which had stored on the SD card in the camera itself. Isn't that crazy? So like they were actually able to get off the SD card. In the video recovered from the SD card dated 5/10/2026, time-stamped at 10 p.m. now, a clear close-up image of a light-skinned black male matching the description provided by witnesses was discovered. Earlier time-stamped video corroborated what witness YJ had told officers. So YJ is the one he was following, remember? So YJ is this one, dropped off here at around 10 o'clock-ish, that was just her approximation. And then walked this direction, and then he started following her, and then goes around the corner into the laundry room, and then she left, and he didn't attack her, and he wasn't waiting for anybody in specific, he just, something about her, he didn't attack her. We don't know. But he followed her and maybe was going to attack her, So anyways, this earlier video begins at approximately 9:45:56. So let me just start this part over here. In the video recovered from the SD card on 5/10/2026, time-stamped at around 10 p.m., a clear close-up image of a light-skinned black male matching the description provided by witnesses was discovered. Earlier time-stamped video corroborated with what YJ had told officers about the light-skinned male who followed her into the laundry room around 10 o'clock. The earlier video begins at approximately 9:45:56. With the entry of witness YJ into the laundry room. So she went in there at 9:45 into the laundry room, followed by the above described male. So that means right after that victim, or victim, but the YJ walked in there, this guy walks in right after her. But then the male talks to witness YJ about laundry. He appears to be visually searching the room for cameras. And look at that. He is. I mean, he's looking at the camera right there. And you can see up there, he's kind of looking up in the air and so forth. So he appears to be visually looking in the room for cameras. He then exits the laundry room, and YJ has the opportunity to leave. So when he left the laundry room, he probably was going out to that door. Remember how he was looking through the door? He's just checking. If she didn't take that opportunity to leave, he may have just killed her right then. You know that? Because I bet you he went out the door, just like we heard a minute ago, that he was looking out. Man, this is crazy. So I'm not sure. I think He did the same thing twice. I think he went out to, like, let's see, let's put it down here. So when he was looking out that window right there, I bet you at 9:46-ish, he did this. He walked out here, and that's when she made her escape, and he didn't feel like he could do it now. So then she left. And then the victim actually ends up going in there next. And I think he wasn't prepared yet because he hadn't dealt with the cameras. But hey guys, if you could please help support the channel, we're currently still, right now we're at 1/5 of the nightly goal. So if you care about stuff like that, then that's the information. Anyways, YJ, okay, he appears to be visually searching the room for cameras. He then exits the laundry room, and YJ has the opportunity to leave to get to her apartment. And then it says the next video clip begins at approximately 10 o'clock and 5 seconds. So right after that girl leaves at 10, you know, God, so what time was that other one where, the hell was his name? EH. So EH said he believed he had seen the male who was exiting building 7 earlier. She described, okay, not that one, the next person. So it was after YJ. JG. Let me just get the timing on JG. JG had ordered food just before 10. He left building 6 and went to pick it up. As he passed building 7, a male standing in building 7. So this is after YG left. So she had already left. So when he's standing in that door, he's on the lookout so he can kill the victim. That's what he's doing here. Because this is at 10 o'clock, right? So JG had ordered food just before 10, and he left building 6 and went to pick it up. As he passed building 7, a male standing in building 7 caught his attention. The male was standing at the window of the first floor entry door to building 7, looking out from inside the closed door. The male looked at JG and then turned around, the male did inside, and went back towards the laundry room. So he saw him and then he went back towards the laundry room. So that's married up with this part down here where it says the next video clip begins at 10 o'clock and 5 seconds. So right after he turns around, he walks back in, and then he's picked up on camera at 10:05 or ish, you know, or he could just be in there already. It says the next video clip begins at 10 o'clock and 5 seconds. Victim Blessing can be seen kneeling in the front of a laundry machine on the far side of the room. An Asian male, YX, whose name is known to law enforcement, is seen next to Blessing. So there was another guy in there at that time, also in front of the dryers. YX is also a resident from Building 8. At approximately 10 o'clock and 21 seconds, just 17 seconds later, the light-skinned black male comes back into the laundry room and stares directly into the camera mounted on the right side of the door. So is that what this is? Right there? Like there's the side of the door. He looks up in the air and he's looking right at it. Doesn't that make sense? Are you guys following along? Does it make sense to you? It's weird how so few people are interested in something like this. This is more interesting than any of the other cases that are out there right now. This one is like, it's crazy. This guy is, I mean, they caught him, and that's good, but this thing is crazy. Hello? What do you mean you're having problems with YouTube? What do you mean? Jesus, man, unreal. Every night. Let's see. So we're down. This guy named YX is in the laundry room with Blessing, the victim. All right. So at approximately 10 o'clock and 21 seconds, which is 17 seconds after this new video started showing Blessing on the ground, the light-skinned black male comes back into the laundry room. So that was him. He was right there when that last guy, I keep forgetting all their little acronyms that they have. Not acronyms, but abbreviations. JG. He saw him standing right there, right at around 10 o'clock, and then he went that direction. That's him right at that moment going back into that room at 10 o'clock and 21 seconds. The light-skinned black male comes back into the laundry room and stares directly into the camera mounted on the right side of the door. He appears to follow the path of the power cord with his eyes and head from the camera around the wall. So he's literally looking at the camera cord around the wall above the doorway. He then turns to exit the laundry room. Something clatters to the ground and he pauses. He continues out of the laundry room at 10 o'clock and 27 seconds. I guess that could be that time too when he went back in right after that. The Asian male YX exits after the light-skinned male at approximately 10:29. So he left right behind him. And then victim Blessing is seen cleaning the lint tray. Appears to add more time to the dryer, so she's cleaning the lint. Her clothing wasn't getting dry, so she cleaned the lint tray. And then she added more quarters to get the machine. I'm not sure if they use quarters anymore, but get the machine to keep drying. And then stands up and deposits the lint into the garbage at the end of the bank of dryers. Victim Blessing walks towards the middle of the room, and then the video stops at 10:01:01. And so that's right when he disconnected the camera that he was looking at the cord. The Asian male YX returns to Building 8, which is captured on Building 8's front door camera at, let's see. So the Asian male went back to Building 8. That's the same building that Blessing lives in. The Asian male XY returns to Building 8, which is captured on Building 8's front door camera at approximately 10 o'clock and 52 seconds. When Blessing is found, she's wearing the same clothing, including the bag worn in the cross-body style as seen in the video. So her clothes just wasn't dry. Isn't that just incredible, you guys? She'd be alive had that dryer dried her clothes, because that YX was still, the Asian male was still in there, and she could have just put her crap in the bag and took off. But instead, she got the lint out and then put more money in to make sure it was dry. What do you mean you can't send super chats? This one's crazy. So look at that. And then, so the Asian male YX returns to Building 8, which is captured. So, the Asian male that was in there with Blessing goes back to the Building 8, the same building Blessing's from. He's just doing laundry. And then when Blessing is found, she's wearing the same clothing, including the bag worn in a cross style as seen in the video. On May 13th, so 3 days later, 2026, the photo of the light-skinned black male in the laundry room were issued to Seattle Police Department officers in a bulletin. Subsequently, the images were released via the Seattle Police Department media unit to the public. There has been significant media coverage on this homicide in the Seattle area, to include distribution of the image of the light-skinned black male from the laundry room. And that's, all these pictures right here. I mean, as soon as you see that, somebody's going to identify. Somebody try to send in a super chat. Let's see if it works or not. I was told it doesn't work. Yeah, see how this is quite a bit different in this case than it's way different than people were perceiving it. This guy was waiting for a victim, and he didn't do the first one. He didn't do because she left. He went. Here's what happened on the first one. The girl that was he followed. He went in there, and then remember how he went out? He was just going to check again to see if anybody was coming, but she followed right behind him and left before he had the opportunity to come back in and remove the cord from the camera so he could kill her. That's exactly what happened there. Yeah, but with Blessing, the Asian person left, and then he knew right after he left that she's left alone back in there. Then he went in, pulled the cord out of the camera, and then stabbed her 40 times all over the place. Have you guys maybe try one of this, like a super thanks if you can. Anyways, this is crazy. So I think I was just right here. Yeah, so on May 13th, after the media, there's lots of pictures out there. See, there it is. I told you it works. Bellevue Police, it just seemed like it didn't work because nobody's been supporting the channel. So it looks like it's just broken. But Bellevue Police Department received a phone call from an attorney. Let me go. I think I need to be back up here. Patrick Leahy reported. So his brother called him in. Isn't that crazy? This coverage of his, these photographs and everything, generated a large number of tips. Amongst these tips were from Patrick Leahy. Patrick Leahy reported the person in the image released is a light-skinned black male. Responsible for the murder of Blessing was Leahy's own brother. Christopher Leahy, date of birth 11/11/1994. Patrick Leahy had communicated with Christopher Leahy as recently as Sunday via text. Patrick also recognized the dark blue jacket worn by the light-skinned black male in the laundry room as having been worn by his brother Christopher on earlier occasion. Detective Rury contacted Patrick Leahy, who said without a doubt the person in the image was his brother. No, but we can't believe him, I mean, just ask Candace Owens when it's Tyler Robinson's parents. I mean, she knows what these people look like better. So, I mean, this guy's just getting set up, right, Candace? He provided a phone number for his brother and other geographical information, which were confirmed as accurate by Record Review. Bellevue Police Department received a phone call from an attorney representing Christopher Leahy at 10:27 p.m. on the same date, May 13th, 2026, saying Leahy was turning himself in. Christopher Leahy arrived at Bellevue Police Department, accompanied by his parents. That's sort of like Tyler Robinson. He was taken into custody and transported to the Seattle Police Department headquarters. He was sent one Graves. Hey, thanks, Karen. Christopher Leahy arrived at Bellevue Police Department accompanied by his parents. He was taken into custody and transported to the Seattle Police Department headquarters. He was subsequently booked into King County Jail for murder, first degree. On May 14th, 2026, I was made aware of a video upload to our AxonEvidence.com evidentiary video storage system. The video provided by homeowner S.J., whose name is known to law enforcement, was time and date stamped as being recorded on May 5th, 2026. All right? So look at this crazy stuff. So this is 5 days before this. All right. Whose name is known to law enforcement, was time and date stamped as being recorded on May 5th, 2026, approximately 6:04 p.m. The address for the video is in the 2100 block of Northeast Ravenna Boulevard. This is approximately 0.36 miles northwest of Nordheim Court Apartments. So let's go to that. Yeah, northwest. Let's see if I measure it. That's 0.38. I wonder what it would be like for the drive. They usually do this by driving. But yeah, I mean, it's right here on this street. Okay? And this is the 2100 block. I don't know which house this is, but it says the address for the video is in the 2100 block of Northeast Ravenna Boulevard. This is approximately 0.36 miles northwest of Nordheim Court Apartments. A light-skinned black male approached the door, and he tries the front door handle. The male then pushes on the door. He pushes with force. When it doesn't open, the male appears angry, turns around, and walks off the porch. The male is wearing the same blue zip-up long-sleeve sweater, jacket, blue jeans, and dark shoes with light soles. Dark frame glasses. The lenses of the glasses are now dark, as the male depicted in the Wise Camera Laundry Room video from Northam Court. Dark frame glasses as... Okay, so it's just like him. Additionally, he is holding something, cloth, in his left hand and wearing a blue and black backpack. What the hell was he doing on that one? Was he going to go kill somebody? I mean, this guy is crazy. Hey, thanks, Karen, and Wild Bill Wassman, and Jim Lon, and Karen again. Hey, it all works now. Thank you. Thanks for testing that out for me and supporting the channel at the same time. Additionally, he's holding some cloth in his left hand and wearing a blue... What the hell was he going to do in there? On May 14th, 2026, I was contacted by Seattle Police Department Latent Print Unit regarding the red smears of what appears to be blood on the exterior side of the door leading into the laundry room. The Latent Print Unit had discovered latent prints in the red residue stains on the outside of the laundry room. Those latent prints were identified as belonging to Christopher Michael Leahy. So he has his fingerprints in the blood. I don't know what the hell this guy is, but he definitely didn't go there just to kill that girl. Don't you guys agree? Like, he was literally just looking for a victim, and she just fell into an opportunity for him. He wanted to kill. That's what this guy wanted to do. So, I mean, what we have here is we have a person that was at this weight room here, walked over here, and they think they saw him. And then later on, this person named YJ was dropped off right around 10 o'clock. They went this direction, and they went down these steps, and then went in. I mean, it's kind of creepy if you just look at it like this. If you go here and look at it like this. So YJ comes down these steps and is being followed by this creep, and she goes into the laundry room here, and then he follows right behind her, goes into the laundry room. That's probably the window of the laundry room right there, and goes in there. And then I think it was pretty quickly after that he heads out, and she follows him right behind because she was creeped out. I don't know if she went into the laundry room to try to avoid him, but he kept, like, wow, he followed, because it didn't sound like she was doing anything in there. And then she got out of there, and then he stood there. But then just moments later, I think moments later is when the victim walked in there as well, and then so was this other guy, this Asian male. They were in there, and they were doing laundry, and then when the Asian male left, I mean, there was another guy that saw him standing in the window too, but that's not really as important. But when the Asian male left, that's when he went back in, unplugged the camera, and then went over and just went absolutely nuts and stabbed her or him 40 times. It's crazy. Isn't that weird? Like, this case here is crazy. This is one that everybody should be, like, it should be something that people are talking about, but it's not. This is, you know, we've talked about, this is the third time that we've gone over it. You know, so this came out too the other day. This is what was out on May 10th at 10:11 hours. Officers responded and to that apartment. Now, don't you think it's interesting that he has lived in those apartments? They're part of his address history, this apartment complex. And they currently said his last known address is, let's see. Now, do I have it listed like that? I'll tell you what I thought was kind of weird is I was looking at this right there, and guess what that is? That's Ted Bundy's, you know, Chi Omega, you know, that one girl that he pretended to be injured. Well, he did that a lot. And then that's one of his victims right there. Look how close that is. You know, I don't know, man. Do you think he's, you know, going down that route too? You know, a Koberger sort of, hey, man, I'm going to go in and kill college students. Probably not, but yeah, this is right up here 5 days before he tried to break into a home right on the street right here. We go down here. He doesn't live in any of these homes. So what he was doing when he went there, who the hell knows? But one of these doors right here, he tried to get in. Yeah, this is where his last known was, right over here. All right. So his last known location was right there, right by this golf course. But yeah, so that means it's across the river. You know, he's way over here, or the sound, I guess. No, I guess it's Lake Washington. So he lived right here. This is his last known, and it's a private driveway right there. I don't know if this is a house or, I mean, it's kind of a odd looking, but it kind of seems like a house. And then he was arrested, apparently right here, at the Bellevue, well, that's right, he turned himself in at the Bellevue City Hall, so it wasn't like they had to track him down. So that's where he turned himself in. And then I think I had one more address that he lived at, but maybe this one. Yeah, once lived over here in this apartment complex in Redmond. And apparently he's written 3 books that he sells on Amazon. So I don't know. I don't know what was the deal with this guy. I mean, it's unbelievable. He was 32 years old, and he's, you know, it's actually kind of a little bit like a mix between Tyler Robinson and Koberger. Like, he's an absolute psycho stabbing people, but then he gets an attorney and turns himself in. You know, it's pretty weird. Yeah, it said something like the book was something like, well, it had a title for it, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, so let's see. Here's his LinkedIn page. It's right here. This is what I was looking at. So there he is on LinkedIn, Amazon, self-published author, published 3 different books. In particular, one called Great State, a play off of the George Orwell's 1984 with Ayn Rand. Objectivist tone. Grossed 3,000 in sales with the objective of warning individuals about the 2016 presidential election. Oh boy, one of these types, huh? Identified key issues like discrimination against blacks during the campaign season and was spurred to demonstrate a signifier. I didn't even see that. I didn't read this earlier. Demonstrate a signifier writing style. Oh, let's see. There's a link right there. I guess I didn't see that earlier. Now, so he has a pseudonym, James Stanley. The Great State is a totalitarian nation in every sense. Detainment centers, extradition, secret courts, and absolute power vested in the executive branch. Oh, so this is a Trump derangement syndrome type. I don't, his killing seems to be, I mean, the fact that he ended up killing a transgender person seems like you're more like you turned out to be like a hypocrite or something. I don't know, man. The police are unchecked by the government. Cumulatively, this leads to a nation gripped by fear. Fear is the primary tool used to indoctrinate its people. Other tools used to facilitate control include power, money, and greed. It is illegal in the Great State to own a business or be a businessman. Well, that sounds like a really successful world. With the media run by the state, ordinary checks and balances cease to exist. Right, you mean how it's been owned by the state for a long time, just not on the side that you're pretending. All right, with the media run by the state, ordinary checks and balances cease to exist. The protagonist, Charles Bates, will have to join forces with an attractive Jessica Barnes to achieve the impossible. The destruction of the totalitarian government before it's too late. Charles climbs the corporate ladder through manipulation and dastardly schemes of grand proportions. Ruthless in his planning, he may have to undermine his romantic relationship with Jessica to better serve his own interests. A pulse-pounding thriller, a heart-gripping story, and an adrenaline ride from start to finish. I'm sure it was great. Great State sets the bar high for dystopia novels with refreshingly new twists. All right, what was the other link on here? What's this thing? Here, let me throw. I got to put that in that folder. All right, what's this thing? Gotta make sure it's not something crazy. Alexander. So what is this? Why did he put that in there? I don't understand. Why did he put that link to that in his LinkedIn? That doesn't make any sense. But hey, guys, if you could please help support the channel. We're still only at about less than a third of the nightly goal. So that'd be great if you guys could help support the channel. Even on a night we're not covering Nancy Guthrie, for God's sakes. I mean, there are other crimes that happen in the world. I know it's hard to believe, but it is true. Okay, what's this one? Ascension. He worked there. He developed a startup that involves reducing fake news. Okay. Contributing social value, contributing to social policy. See, I believe in eliminating fake news, except the side that he's on is the one that puts out fake news. You know, that's the thing. All right, so we got that. I don't really have much more on him, but then you find that pretty interesting. This guy is absolutely a psycho. Okay, he isn't what people were saying in the chat. I never thought that, because I thought the transgender element was just random. He just happened to be that was the victim. And it turns out that is the reality, is that this guy was hunting for a victim. And man, who knows? I think there's just a lot of lucky people out there. This guy was just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. He stabbed her 40 times in that really short amount of time, too. It's impossible, Gray. Just ask the Koberger people, the ones that think he's innocent. It's impossible. All right. Now let's move on to the Islamic Center shooting in San Diego. There, hold on, let me see something. I'm watching the Spurs win into overtime with OKC. Spurs are up 4 with the ball. Ah, jeez, these guys, they can't even. Yep, it looks like the Spurs are gonna win game 1. They might win the whole damn thing this year, actually. I think if the championship is right here. Like, whoever wins this series is winning the whole thing. They're way better than anybody on the East. All right. So anyways, this is the Islamic Center. And apparently 2 individuals went there. I followed it pretty much the whole day. Everybody was live streaming it, so I just didn't want to do it myself. Yeah, so apparently they're claiming the victims are not the victims, the suspects are Kane Clark, 17, and Caleb Vasquez, 18. Now, this Kane Clark guy, people are distributing images out there where this person looks like they could be a transgender person. I mean, they're a wrestler, but man, they have long hair, look just like a girl. I mean, it's like, I don't know what the deal is with that, but so I haven't been able to verify. I mean, maybe at this point, if anybody can go out there and it's verified, like on a news outlet, like, NBC or something like that, Fox News, whatever, that has a picture of them, and send it to me. But currently, I've only seen it in a couple places, but it's hard to know when there's people that people put out all the time in different cases. But hey, any chance you guys can help support the channel? We're still at a third. Hasn't moved since I asked the last time. So if you guys have the ability to, that would be great. Yeah. Yep. Looks like that's going to do it. The Spurs win game number 1. Hell, they might sweep this sucker. I mean, who knows? Makes the Blazers look a hell of a lot better. Anybody here? You guys, it's just nobody's commenting or chatting. I can go do something else, if you guys would rather not have me do this. It's like frozen. The chat hasn't moved. It just sits there. There's this guy, Kane Clark and Caleb Vasquez, 18, as the subjects in today's shooting at the Islamic Center. Previous law enforcement officials said the suspects died of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. So it was really weird, because I heard the press conference and I went, wow, they must have taken their own lives, because they found them dead. That's what they said. So these 2 people, they went to the Islamic Center and they killed 3 three people at this place, and then they killed themselves. And right where this pin is, there's a picture on Twitter of a security guard on his back, and it's just blood everywhere from his head area. It's a pretty gruesome picture. I'm not going to show it or anything, but you know, so apparently they went in there. Now I have 2 press conferences. Okay, you got a New York Post one? Okay, because it hadn't been updated. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I do want to look at this. Nashville YouTuber. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on a second. Somebody just sent me this. Susan sent it to me. Nashville YouTuber hit with a $17.5 million verdict in defamation case over true crime video. Man, they should get all of these people. There was so many. Hold on, let's see. The case is now in the punitive damage phase. A defamation trial involving a Nashville YouTuber and a viral true crime video has ended with a $17.5 million verdict. The lawsuit was filed against YouTuber Ryan Upchurch. Wow. So they went after him. They should have gone after, what's her name? Something Vaz Girl or some shit like that. She was the worst. She was accusing everybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry in that case. But anyways, Ryan Upchurch by relatives of Kylie Rodney and 16-year-old California girl who appeared in August 2022. I'm reading this. Somebody just sent this to me. I'm looking at it. Because this is the case that I pretty much solved by using the camera footage from the fire camera videos. Remember? So remember Upchurch, that idiot that was always going around too? But man, there was about 3 of these people. Her body was later found inside the SUV in a nearby lake. The girl's father, Daniel Rodney, and grandfather, David Robertson, sued Upchurch in federal court in Nashville in 2023, claiming he defamed them in a video titled Zero Proof of Kylie Rodney's Situation Being Real. According to the lawsuit, Upchurch suggested the case was fake and part of a scam to raise money through a GoFundMe. Attorneys for Rodney's family said the video spread false claims during a time of intense grief and caused damage to the family's reputation. The case centered on the limits of online commentary. But hey guys, I don't mean to ask again, but can you please help support the channel tonight? We're only at a third of the goal. And I'm sorry that I dared to cover something else, but if you guys can please support it, even on nights where we're doing something else, that would be great. Thank you. You know, we need some more gifted memberships. We've only got 7 of those. We're currently at less than a third of the nightly goal. Yeah, nobody's deleted any of your comments, Chicken Wing. YouTube deletes comments, though. There's certain words, and I have words that are banned as well. So, wow, that's great. That's good news. That's fantastic. I always keep that in mind for my situation. You got people that make up stuff right out of whole cloth. You know, they tell me that my wife is a mail order bride. They go through all these different it's unbelievable. Crazy people. I mean, sick in the head. All right, who's going to do a challenge, you guys? We need to get a challenge going. All right, let's see. So, I switched right over to that really quick. And then and then Lisa sent me an email. Hold on, did I get 2 coffees? Well, it looks like Lisa Valenzuela sent 2 coffees in. And then an email here. Okay, so that is real then. Well, you didn't send me the link, though. Send me the link, Lisa. Well, that thing that you sent me is just an image, you know. You got to send me the link so I don't, I can prove that it's on there, all right? You sent me a screenshot, and I think you did anyways. Or is it a link? I don't know. Well, maybe it is a link. They just look like a photograph. I guess it is a link. Some of the Pro Burger channels could be next. Oh, yeah, they should be next. These people are crazy people out there. Thank you, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, here we go. Here is the San Diego Mosque shooter Kane Clark, identified as former high school wrestler. And then when you look at this picture right here, that's not fully the one that I'm talking about. Hold on a second. That's just one. Well, no, they must all be in here. Hold on. Or maybe there's more. Yeah, look at that. So, I mean, that doesn't look like a guy, right? So it looks kind of like a transgender person. See? Even that picture, immediately you have that thought. And then there's another picture I've seen as well. So I don't know what the deal is here. I guess they can be racist too, I guess. Let me see if I can find the one that I saw earlier. Now, it's not just feminine looking. That person's intentionally doing that. I've seen other. It's not just feminine looking. Let's see. I mean, like in this one, he's almost got like lipstick on or something. I mean, look. See? And there's more. Let me put his name. I've seen different pictures. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if that was the one. Oh yeah, so like I think this is even another picture right there, see? And I guess that's a picture like when they're actually wrestling or before. Yeah, so I don't know who the... that wasn't him, the second one. Alright, so it's Justin. So the Islamic Center who got shot up, allegedly trans person. Then there's Caleb Vasquez and Kane Clark. So there's also a Caleb Vasquez too. So apparently these are the two people here. I mean, I don't know 100% the one on the left, but the one on the right's the same one that was in the New York Post. Okay. So here we go. These are the two press conferences. It might just be that if we just... the second one might be the only one that we need to... I mean, you know, it might be like a recap of the whole thing. Well, let me leave that in there just in case. Oops, shit. All right, here. I fixed the audio and everything. It was really crappy out there. So are we just out of luck tonight, you guys, getting the support for the channel? Because it feels like that's where we're at. I've asked, I don't know, 7 times now, and it seems like every time is met with just trying to reach the goals, man. We've done it 3 nights in a row after 3 out of 5 not making it, and thought we were on a roll here, so let's see if we can keep on trucking.
Let me start off by extending heartfelt condolences to the Muslim community, to the families of the 3 that are deceased because of the horrific actions of today. This is a city's and a community's absolute worst nightmare. We were perceiving with this information. Runaway juvenile.
It's sort of interesting because the mother, I think, called in on saying, hey, you know.
A free society. And I appreciate all of your patience as we try to work through and piece this scene back together again. I have some updated information that I want to make sure everybody has. At about 9:42 this morning, we received a call of a runaway juvenile. After speaking with the mom began...
I think I recorded the background music with this.
...and to piece together bits and pieces of information over an extended period of time. The information that she was gathering and conveying to us began to elevate the threat level that we were perceiving with this information. She believed her son was suicidal, and she began to share information that several of her weapons were missing. Her vehicle was missing, in addition to her son. She also said that her son was with a companion, and that they were dressed in camo, and that is not consistent with what we would typically see from somebody that is suicidal. That began to trigger a larger threat assessment picture. Our threat management unit began to take the tips and leads that we had and utilize the technology we have available to us. Our license plate readers was at the top of that list. We began to have, we noted that there were hits with the vehicle down in Fashion Valley. We dispatched officers into the area of the mall as a possible location that was a threat. We also gathered information that one of the individuals was associated in some form or fashion with Madison High School. We alerted the school police department, and we dispatched officers into the area of Madison High School. While we were gathering this information and we were trying to zero in on where these individuals were at, we received the call at approximately 11:43 that there was an active shooter at the Islamic Center. Officers were in the area, still talking with mom, trying to piece together where they might be, the locations that she felt that they would be at. And that was just a few blocks away. Those officers, once they heard what was happening at the Islamic Center, immediately dispatched themselves to the mosque. And just to recap what we talked about earlier, when officers arrived on scene, they came across, in some form or fashion, 3 deceased individuals, victims. One was a security guard at the center. We'll get some questions in just a minute, sir. Thank you. Because of what the officers were encountering, and because we know that this is a large gathering facility with kids, with adults, with community members from throughout our county, officers immediately began to enter the facility, utilizing our active shooter protocol, looking for a suspect or two. At the same, and at about the same time as they were making entry and searching through the facility, room by room, we received calls of a vehicle a couple blocks away that was shooting at a landscaper. The landscaper is going to be okay, but we are still investigating that scene. It appears he may have been shot in the helmet that deflected and saved his life, but that is not totally confirmed at this point. A couple blocks away from there, we also received a call where a community member reported our 2 suspects in a vehicle, and it appeared they had gunshot wounds, and upon our arrival, we determined they were deceased. We are in the process of serving search warrants that will continue tonight and on into the days ahead. We're going to continue following any leads and any information that comes forward, as we're all focused on figuring out how this happened and what could we have done to prevent it. I will end by saying it's not a cliche. If you see something, if you hear something, if you know something, that is an integral part of preventing things like this from happening, and it's an integral part for us to be able to take that information, utilize the tools that we have to try to prevent something like this from happening. So with that, I'm going to bring up Mark Remley from the FBI to discuss a little bit more information.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Chief. My name is Mark Remley. I am the Special Agent in charge of the FBI San Diego Field Office. As was reported earlier, 3 adults have lost their lives in today's senseless act of violence. We also know the 2 teenage subjects responsible are also deceased. The FBI is determined to uncover all the facts associated with this incident and learn why this shooting occurred at the Islamic Center of San Diego. Here's what we know at this time after our preliminary assessment and working closely with our law enforcement partners to gather evidence. Victim specialists deployed to the Reunification Center at 4125 Hathaway in San Diego. We're also having additional victim services personnel deploy from our headquarters in Washington, D.C. to assist with the families that have been impacted. Our bomb techs have cleared the vehicle associated with the subjects. We are in the process of interviewing family and friends of the subjects, and evidence response teams are gathering all the evidence from the scene for review. We will process everything as quickly but as meticulously as we can. We again thank you for your patience as we work through the scene. The FBI stands with the communities we serve, and our hearts weigh heavy for those killed and everyone who was subjected to this violence today. Shooting incidents like this not only impact those within the immediate vicinity, but everyone in the community also feels the effects. We will continue to coordinate with our law enforcement partners and work closely with them for as long as it takes until we understand what happened. We will leave no stone unturned. We thank the public for your continued cooperation. As we continue to work through this active investigation, we ask that you send photos, videos, or any visual evidence or information you may have to fbi.gov/Islamic Center of San Diego shooting. As I mentioned earlier, no piece of information is too small. Everything helps us gather all the relevant evidence we need to better understand why this horrific incident occurred. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor for some comments.
Thank you.
Fucking direct result of your leadership! Your leadership! Our Muslim brothers and sisters have been talking to you for how long? You have
These people, I hate this kind of crap. You know, they don't say a damn thing when we're being attacked by terrorists, but now they're going to make it the biggest deal out of this as they possibly can. Hey, wow, look at this one, you guys. We got a really generous challenge offer by Betty Black. She says, challenge my way. I will donate $50 if we get 50 in donations, however you want. You know, $1.99, 5 here, 2 there, 1 there, etc. You guys. Somebody, they're yelling in the background, we've told you all this. Well, look at, we've told you that your people kill people all over the place, okay? All over the world, all the time, and have killed many people in America. In fact, the mosque that this is at right here, 2 of the 9/11 hijackers were at that mosque, okay? So when you hear something like that, just you know, understand what's happening. Don't try to make hay out of it and make everybody go, oh, you know, it's ridiculous. But you guys see that up there, the challenge? So if we get, if 50 people did $2, or, no, not 50, 25 people did $2, that'd be the same thing. So we need $50 total in super chats, etc., and then Betty Black will match it, meaning it'll be, that would get us to like 70% or something. Let me boost up that portion here. Great start though, you guys. Man, excellent. Fantastic. Why even say look at if we're not getting anywhere? It's a waste of time. All right, let's see. Here we go.
Thank you.
Fucking direct result of your leadership! Your leadership! Our Muslim brothers and sisters have been talking to you for how long? You have to fucking listen to them, Todd. Just like you did with ICE.
It's Trump!
Golden
Trump
ICE
hates
with
me!
golden science
Trump
propaganda.
What does Trump have to do with this? That's so stupid.
You keep doing it as long as the lines are fucking.
A transgender person shoots up a mosque and it's Trump's fault? Man, I've never heard anything like it.
Topic, won't it? Show something! Worse approval rating than a fascist dictator with shit in his pants.
Yeah, he's shaking his head too. Why don't you look in the mirror, you stupid... I don't even know what to call the person. You know? Yeah, it's horrible. You know, like 2 people went and shot and killed people at a mosque. It shouldn't be done in the United States. But you know what I'd love to hear is you saying the same thing when your brethren are killing people all over the place. Do you jump up like, you know... when you go through, when you watch people in Dearborn, Michigan, they never say a damn thing when there's terrorism all over the place. And let's see if, let me see if we can hear you. But what you'll do is see, this is what you get when you do this to our, you know, it's like, they just can't look in the mirror. All right, so we got 5. Hey, thanks, Karen. And then Wild Bill Wasserman and Chicken Wings. So that is 9. We need 41 more, you guys.
Today our city was shaken by a violent act of hate here at the Islamic Center of San Diego, and my heart is with every person that is impacted by this horrific tragedy. No one in our city should live in fear because of their identity, their faith, or their place of learning. I'm grateful to the San Diego Police Department, our San Diego Fire Rescue Department, and our partners at the local, state, and federal level, all of whom showed up here to help with this.
Hey, you guys, we need 41 more to reach the challenge. All right, you know, there's always these people that show up every night and they help us. They miraculously get us to the goal, and they're not here tonight, you guys. So can you guys try to make a difference tonight? We just need 41 more, and it'll be matched, and we'll get, you know, closer to a goal. But we won't be there regardless. But at least it's better than we're at now. Okay, so if you have the ability to, that would be fantastic.
This investigation and this response and help to bring this threat to an end. This tragedy is particularly hurtful to our Muslim community as it comes together at the start of the Dhul Hijjah, one of Islam's holiest periods leading up to the Hajj and the Eid al-Adha, a time of deep faith, reflection, and unity. Hate has no home in San Diego, Islamophobia has no home in San Diego. An attack on any San Diegan is an attack on all San Diegans, and we will not stand for it in America's finest city. Let there be no misunderstanding. For anyone who would seek to bring this kind of violence to this city, you will be met with the full force of our law enforcement partnerships. And anyone who seeks to do harm here will understand the response will be swift and you will be brought to justice. In the meantime, I want to assure San Diegans, in particular our Muslim brothers and sisters, the San Diego Police Department will be guarding all of our local houses of worship with additional presence to assure your safety during this very, very tragic time. We'll be guarding other houses of worship and making sure that we anticipate and try and prevent the very worst. We didn't meet that mark today, but I have deep gratitude to the security officer who was here, whose actions and heroism undoubtedly saved lives. And I'm grateful to every law enforcement individual who ran toward this call to help bring these people to justice. My prayers and my thoughts and our whole hearts community is with.
All right, guys, we have a challenge up on the board there. $50 challenge. If we get 50, she'll donate 50. Betty Black. We're at 9 right now. It's been sitting at 9. So if the rest of you could do the 41 total with, that's like a buck, not even $1, 50 cents a piece out there. We could do it. All right, so just if you have the ability to, that'd be great. I don't want anybody sending anything in if they can't, but we try to reach the goals on the show every single night, and I need your guys' support.
The Islamic Center of San Diego and all Muslim San Diegans. With that, I'll turn it back to our chief.
Before I open up to questions, we're a little over 5 hours outside of this incident. Understand the complexity of and the dynamics of a situation like this and the emotions that are without a doubt behind everything that's going on. Much of what else there is to answer is currently being investigated, and I cannot go into some of those details, but I will do my best to try to make sure that you guys have the information you need moving forward. So with that, I will open up to some questions. Yes, sir. Hang on. Trevor, go ahead. Yeah, we are actively investigating this as a hate crime. There are details and information that we are investigating as to exactly what those what the hate speech or the hate words were that were conveyed. Some of that is going to have to take more time to develop further to see where that information's coming from, but yes, it's being investigated as a hate crime at this point. There was definitely hate rhetoric that was involved. I'll leave it at that for now. Yes. It's still preliminary. We're still looking into that. We do believe the security guard was able to help at least minimize the situation to the front area of the mosque. Until we know more, I don't want to speculate, but at this point I think it's fair to say his actions were heroic, and undoubtedly he saved lives today. Yes, ma'am. I don't have details, but yes, the call came in as a runaway, and then it kind of elevated as mom began to kind of piece together what she was finding with her son being missing. She she realized that she was missing weapons, multiple weapons. Her vehicle was missing. There are details that she was beginning to develop a bigger picture as to what she was dealing with, was conveying that to our folks, and we were trying to put that together and get out in front of this as quickly as we could. She found some note left by him. What that note looks like, what that note says, I'm not going to disclose right now. Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks, Lori. All right, so now we're kind of like 15, or like $1 short of halfway to that challenge, right? But I think if we just get 25 more, that'll be the challenge, right? 49, that's pretty close, right?
Search warrants that we're going to be serving, I'm not going to put that information out right now. No. Some of that information, that's what we're...
Hey, Jim, let's try to focus in on what we're going over here, okay? That'd be great.
We're actively looking and investigating right now. Obviously, we have a lot of questions. Is what led up to this moment, and that will be ongoing in this investigation as we move forward.
Yeah, memberships are $5. That's why I say that. So if we got 5 more memberships, we'd reach your challenge.
I'm sorry? I'm not sure at this point. We've just basically notified family of those victims. We're not going to put out their identity right now. We will put that information out here in the days ahead. But for now, we're not putting that information out. We're trying to protect kind of what we have. There's more work to be done, and we want to make sure that we're preserving some of that for the moment. Yes, ma'am.
What's 16 mean? Right now we have 5, 15.
I'm going to let
16,
Imam Taha answer
17,
that type of question. I don't
18,
know for
19,
sure. I don't know for sure.
24 so far out of the 50.
17 and 18. Yeah, I think it's 18. And then I need to correct that. I think I put out earlier it was 19.
We are 26. Why do you guys keep typing in numbers? What does that mean? Look at we got Lori. She did 1. That's 5. Then we had Karen 10. That's 15. And then we have Chicken Wing 2. And then Karen at 5, so that's 9 plus 15, 24. So we need 26 more to reach it. We need 26 more.
I believe it's 18. No. Unknown. At least one, but unknown about the other one. It just in general, well, I think it's fair to say that all religious facilities across this country, around the world, in today's world, are well aware of the risks that are associated. It's an unfortunate reality of the world we live in today. But I would say absolutely, everybody feels that insecurity.
All right, guys, any chance we can get 5 different people out there to give 1 membership each, and then we'll reach the challenge by Betty Black, who so generously offered to donate $50 if we got $50 worth of donations from other people. It's a good way to help. It's 2 to 1 on your end. Let me boost this up. I don't know. I can't really hear the question very good. Maybe I'll try to do all of these. Let's see. So I grab that one, this one, and that one. Do audio gain like 25. Yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, the music that I put in there was way... I didn't mean to put that in there. I didn't even know it was playing. So he can't really hear it. He'll probably repeat it.
Well, first, let me make sure I'm clear. There was no specific threat, especially no specific threat to the Islamic Center. It was just general hate kind of speech that I think covered a wide gamut. I don't want to go into any of the specifics at this point. Again, we are still actively investigating this as we speak.
You know what sucks is to spend the whole day trying to get all the clips together and 3 different cases and get it all together, and you come on and you do a show and you've only got 130 people watching because it's not Nancy Guthrie again. You know, and it's just, and the support isn't there. You know, we have this really generous challenge in here, and it's just a struggle for it just to even come close. Just, this is exactly what I was telling you guys the other day. It's just not a good feeling.
But it was more generalized. In some form or capacity, he was associated with the school as a student. Exactly what that capacity is, we're not sure of just yet. So the question is, was there a specific threat to the high school? There was no specific threat to any facility or any place with what we knew. There was generalized hate rhetoric and speech. Mom believed that her son was suicidal, but the additional bits of information led us to believe that there was a bigger threat picture here that we needed to consider.
Hey, Betty, can I donate the 5 to get to the goal, the challenge? I got to rob Peter to pay Paul again. Can I do that, Betty? I'm just trying to make something happen in here. Hey, I guess I can do 4 now.
One person that's suicidal is not going to take 3 weapons from a location.
Thanks, Karen.
Those little bits of information were significant and important that triggered a much bigger threat assessment that began to bring additional investigators in to utilize the technology that we have available to try to get out in front of what we feared would be coming. But there was no specific threat to this center.
So it sounds like they were sort of thinking something was going to be happening at some point.
Or any religious facility, or any school, or any mall, in any way. I want to make sure that's clear. We don't get that wrong. We're still investigating, but yes, we do believe that's all associated with the large.
Well, thanks, Betty Black. We didn't actually reach there yet, but thank you. I was going to send it in myself.
Larger picture of today's events. It's not. They're not separate.
And thanks, Karen.
Sir, go ahead.
They're all do the other 5.
So, first of all,
this
is why we need the community. This is a partnership. Public safety is a shared responsibility. It is important that people share information when they see, hear, or know.
All right, there you go, Betty Black. We reached your challenge by robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Know something that pertains to threats of violence. That is what allows us to filter through who is going to cause harm and who is not. So that information is priority 1.
And hey, Betty Black, normally on another day or whatever, people would do your challenge. I don't know what today's different about. I guess that's just, I'm not covering Nancy Guthrie. But so thank you for your challenge and your support there. But I bet you if you did it on another date, it probably would, it would reach the challenge goal.
I'll let Imam Taha speak to that. All right,
we don't even know what who are these people? Apparently they were using some some kind of comments, but I mean, what does that mean really? I mean, like a lot of Democrats hate Jewish people, and there's some even some conservative people like Candace Owens that don't like Jewish people. So you don't really know what side somebody's on, especially when you have somebody that looks like a transgender person who is shooting up a mosque. I mean, what side of the fence are they on? Who the hell even knows? It's crazy. Nobody has any idea.
Listen, folks, we'll sit here all night and go question and answer. We will provide more information when more information is available and we have more of the information confirmed that we're now starting to speculate on. I want to make sure that you have the details thus far so that you understand exactly what we were responding to, what we were dealing with. And I'll close by saying this. Our hearts go out to the families, obviously the greater Muslim community. We're one city, and we're one community. As police chief, I am grateful that we have police officers and sheriff's deputies from throughout this county that dropped what they were doing and didn't do just what...
And I don't mean all Democrats. What I'm saying is when the state of Israel and Jewish people are always... I think it's so strange how Jewish people are always registered as Democrats, and yet they're hated so much amongst that political class. It's kind of bizarre. I don't really understand that one. And so we don't know what's going on here in this situation. Why are these two kids attacking? And by the way, why did they both take their own life right after? Like they just shot three people. Oh, okay, let's take our own life. I mean, why'd they do that? So it might have been that they had a pact to take their own life. And so let's go do this, and then we'll take our own life. Just so that we can say we did something.
they were trained to do. They did what we hired them to do, to step into harm's way, to be willing to run towards gunfire, to protect people they don't even know. And so with that, thank you for your patience, and we will be back out in the days ahead with more information. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they find as a motive. They're probably going to go out of their way to make it some sort of right-winger, but I mean, I don't know how you can be if you look like him, you know? That's Tyler Robinson was questionable about which one? Questionable about what? Yeah, so it was right here. I don't know exactly where they were. Looks like a lot of solar panels there. Off the grid. Yeah, but the one security guy, he was shot right there. I don't know where the other two were. But I think their car was just in the middle of the street. And they went in there back to the car and shot themselves. Really weird. Let's see if the Daily Mail has any. They usually get a lot of photos and stuff. Let's see. Daily Mail. San Diego. Shooting. Or like San Diego Mosque. Shooting. Okay, let's see what the hate rhetoric is. What are they talking about? So I guess that's the one that got killed. Amin Abdullah has been identified as one of the victims. Yeah, he was probably the one in the front. He looked like he had all that same gear on, and he was on the ground. Yeah, I'm glad the person didn't get in with all those kids. The two teenage suspects who opened fire on San Diego mosques sprawled hate rhetoric on their weapons before carrying out the attack, police said. The suspects were found dead from self-inflicted gunshot wounds after the shooting on Monday, which saw 3 people killed outside the house of worship. They were identified as Kane Clark, 17, and Caleb Vasquez, according to NBC News. A 17-year-old suspect attended virtual high school and was set to graduate this month. Man, that's just totally isolated doing that. Kane Clark was attending school virtually and was on track to graduate this month, a spokesperson for the San Diego Unified School District said. Clark, 17, never attended classes at Madison High School, about 1 mile from the Islamic Center, but he lived in its attendance zone and could have attended classes there had he chosen to, according to spokesperson. Well, what about those wrestling pictures? Clark did wrestle at Madison during the 2024-25 season, Canning said. He was participating in the district's high virtual academy and would have graduated this month. Officials have said Clark and another teenage suspect died of self-inflicted gunshot wounds. And the other one's a Hispanic person. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. Really strange. Yeah, Caleb Vasquez. Who is... I don't know how they met or anything. Yeah, look at that. There is writing on there. They didn't get a clear shot of it. But doesn't that look like a transgender it just, to me, it looks like they're trying to appear female. And they actually, I don't know. And it seems like a lot of times you get these people that homeschool and just, who knows. Who were Kane Clark and Caleb Vasquez? That's, they don't have the answer. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow we'll know more about it. Let's see if there's anything on Twitter with these guys. Caleb Vasquez, Department of Political Science. Is that really him? Political Science, UC. I don't know. Kind of looks like that other picture. I don't want to put it out there unless I knew. Let's see, does he have those ears? Yeah, could be him. Yeah, this is one from before. Look, so you got that picture, right? And then that one. Does that look like a guy trying to be a guy? I mean, just to say that's feminine would be understatement. That's like literally You know, and then I guess that was them before, and then that's also them, you see, but that just... And then you have that one right there. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to a brick wall. All right, I'm just going to play this one and call it quits. So this is the Alec Murdoch Harpoolian press conference today. All right. Well, listen to this.
Hey, a couple things. We have filed a lawsuit today. We're going to discuss that with you in just a minute. I'd hoped that would have been the main topic of this press conference, but over the weekend we learned that the Attorney General has announced he's considering the death penalty in this case. Clearly, he is not talking to the lawyers in his office. He's probably talking to his political consultants who thought that was a good soundbite for his governor's campaign. The law is clear that he cannot seek the death penalty if it is due to vindictive prosecution. That is, and here's the question, what does he know today he didn't know 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think it just froze because it was playing. It's going to not... It's going to crash here in a second. Yeah, see. Yeah, God, it's so dumb. Oh, it should work though. I think once I open this up, it'll say, "Do you want to open up the one that you just had?" Yeah, right there. Reopen. Oops. Well, doesn't look like that was going to work. Yeah, there it is. It's still there.
Again, which nobody wants to do. The damages that we...
Clearly, he is not talking to the lawyers in his office. He's probably talking to his political consultants who thought that was a good... A couple things. We have filed a lawsuit today. We're going to discuss that with you in just a minute. I'd hoped that would have been the main topic of this press conference, but over the weekend we learned that the Attorney General has announced he's considering the death penalty in this case. Clearly, he is not talking to the lawyers in his office. He's probably talking to his political consultants who thought that was a good soundbite for his governor's campaign. The law is clear that he cannot seek the death penalty if it is due to vindictive prosecution. That is, and here's the question, what does he know today he didn't know 5 years ago? Why is he saying he's going to seek the death penalty? Is there some new piece of evidence? So we're a little sick and tired, and we've seen this process since the beginning of this case, where Alan Wilson plays politics as opposed to playing prosecutor. He's got great lawyers on his staff. He should listen to them, defer to their judgment. Coincidentally, he has not looked into the attempted jury tampering of Becky Hill. We're going to talk about a civil suit in a minute, but clearly the statute says whoever tampers with a jury or attempts to tamper with a jury is guilty of a crime. Judge Toll's fact findings were clear. Becky Hill attempted. The Supreme Court last week, Becky Hill attempted. So please, Alan, focus on your job and not the politics. Now, having gotten that out of my system, let me turn this over to Jim Griffin, who's going to talk about the lawsuit that was filed this morning, and then Phil Barber, and he and I will answer questions. Jim?
Yeah, good morning. Today in United States District Court, Federal Court, the Charleston Division, we filed a lawsuit on behalf of Richard Alexander Murdoch Sr. versus Rebecca Hill. In this lawsuit, we file it under the Federal Civil Rights Statute 42 United States Code 1983 to redress constitutional deprivation of rights. Those rights were Alec's right to a fair trial, a right that him be tried before an untampered, untainted jury. With the South Carolina Supreme Court's ruling, it has been adjudged as a matter of state law that she deprived Alec of his constitutional rights, deprived him of a right to a fair trial, and as a result, we've got to do it all over again, which nobody wants to do. The damages that we've alleged include the over $600,000 that was spent to try the first case and other compensatory damages. Now let me be clear. Alec Murdoch owes a lot of people a lot of money. None of this money that is recovered will go to him personally. And the purpose of this lawsuit is to hold Becky Hill accountable for what she did. She has not been held account at all for her conduct. And two is to investigate exactly what she did, which we'll be able to do through the course of civil litigation. We have subpoena power, we can take depositions. And so we're going to be able to understand the entire scope of her conduct. She's yet to be thoroughly investigated by the state, and she's not been held accountable by the state. And that's what we hope to do, that's what we intend to do, and that's what we will do with this lawsuit. Thank you. Phil, what you got?
I would just amplify that and say that, can you hold it till the plane goes over?
This way,
The jury process, the integrity of the jury process was violated by somebody sworn to uphold it. And that's why we're here today, and that cannot go unanswered, as Jim said. And that's what we're going to do with this lawsuit. Beyond that, we've alleged $600,000 in damages. That's a public number, by the way. There was a receivership. That money was allocated from a receivership for the defense. That was a waste because of what Becky Hill did, plus other damages alleged. And beyond that, we are going to find out exactly what happened. There will be depositions, there will be subpoenas, and she will be held to account for her actions.
Any questions? None? Okay. No?
Do you guys have any new evidence to present your case going forward?
Well, we have. Where'd you go for? Okay. We have received a number of pieces of information post-trial. Some of them came just to us. Some of that came just to us. Some of that went to SWED too, and we don't know what they did with it. Once the trial was over, we don't have the power to subpoena. We don't have the power to really investigate it all. All we did was, after the trial, was look into the jury misconduct, and we rode around Colleton County for a couple months through the swamp on the dirt roads to find these jurors and ask them questions. But once a judge is appointed, and I think we got an order on Friday that the Chief Justice has said, once the remittitor is issued, which means right now the Supreme Court has the case, they got to remit it to a trial court, and he'll do that, we think, in the next couple of weeks. So at that point, then we will have subpoena. Then we will have the ability to investigate.
With a new murder trial, how hard do you think it is going to be to find impartial jurors?
Well, let me say this to you. This has gotten extraordinary notoriety, unlike most other cases I've ever tried. But in its time...
Yeah, so Becky would talk to the jury and sort of like go in there and go, hey, today's a big day, you guys. Now watch his body language. yeah, and be like really like pro prosecution, stuff like that. She'd say stuff like that. You absolutely can't do shit like that, but if that's true. But some of the other jurors, I mean, the thing is her saying that, if it affected the trial at all, it was very minimal, It was so obvious.
A case I prosecuted 40 years ago.
But I'll tell you this right now, you guys. The online community, because it's more fun, this time around, they'll even be, I bet it's 90% are going to want to get, Alec Murdoch will become their hero, and they're going to want to free him. How much you want to bet? That they're all going to just go after, oh yeah, ooh, good, yeah, wow, look at that. And they're hoping to God to have it over, completely exonerated. Or not exonerated, but he found not guilty. They want it to be that way. 90% of the people. How much you want to bet? That's how it's going to go. I won't be one of those people.
Pee Wee Gaskins, Monk was there. Pee Wee Gaskins, we had to go through 400 jurors to get 14. It's important that we have, what we want is individual voir dire. That means we individually question the jurors, which is not usually allowed in anything but a death penalty case. So we think we can get them. Now, can we get it in Colleton County? That's debatable, but and I think the state has the same interest, should have the same interest we have in finding 12 or 14 with alternates, impartial, fair jurors. The state should want an unsullied, uninfluenced jury as much as we do.
And have you talked to Alec recently? How does he feel about the overturn?
Jim talked to him this morning.
Yeah, we've talked to Alec a lot lately about many topics, including retrial and what that might look like. But to your specific question, frankly, when we reported back to him after our argument in the South Carolina Supreme Court, we told him it went as well as we could have hoped, and that we were very optimistic that we would get a favorable result. And he appreciated our assessment, but he was incredulous. His experience has been, since he has been on the back end of civil lawsuits and criminal indictments, that he's lost every significant legal ruling along the way, and that occurred almost daily during the trial. And when he got the order, when I spoke with him, he had already read the opinion of the Supreme Court, and he says, "I'm reading it, I see it, it says reverse, but I still have a hard time believing it. It's really just sinking in." But he was very grateful, and very thankful, and he thanked all of us here that are on this side of the podium, and he got somewhat emotional. He was so, and I don't think he'll mind for me telling you this. He has always said, and he told me very early, that he deserves to be in jail, prison, for the financial crimes that he committed. But he says, being in jail for something you didn't do is a hard thing to swallow, even though I'm here doing time for what I did do. But then he said, what I was convicted of is so reprehensible, and something that is so heinous, and to be wrongfully convicted of that is almost unbearable, he says. And so he is very thankful that he's no longer a convicted murderer of his wife and son, and he's appreciative to the court for applying the rule of law, regardless of outcome. They did their job, and we're all very appreciative of that. The rule of law won out last week.
Have you spoken to Buster, and how does he feel about what happened last week?
So, yeah, thanks for asking that question, and I want to say this. Buster Murdoch is, hopefully we can all agree, is entitled to his privacy. That kid has been through so much, and that's all he wants is his privacy. And so we're not going to answer questions about Buster, other than to say, and I'd say it with 100% confidence, that Buster supports his dad, Alec.
With
With the civil suit, are you hoping to get your hands on the SLED investigation into the jury tampering allegations by Reck Hill?
Sure. Now, we were given some information through the discovery during the motion for new trial stage. Is that all they've done? I mean, we don't know. But if that is all they've done, that really wasn't much of an investigation. And we really don't think they've done much of an investigation, but we certainly plan to.
And let me say this. There's also was a Freedom of Information Act served on SWED to get additional information. We've seen that too. Does it make sense to have the agency who has an inherent conflict, they want the conviction sustained, investigating whether it was valid or not? I mean, it just seems ridiculous. And again, I think the Attorney General's fault is not asking for some independent. He could have gotten a sheriff's department to it. Leon Lott folks or the sheriff up in Spartanburg, Greenville, have a very sophisticated sheriff's department. Charleston also. Use them. But SWED is invested in affirming the conviction. They don't want to find any fault. I mean, that's just human nature. So we think there's going to be plenty of things that weren't looked into, and we want to look into those. And the question is, and Jim and Phil and I have been talking about this, did she do it alone? Did she have somebody help her with this? And if you were sitting in the judge's chambers, like we were, when she brought in information on the jury you would call the egg lady, we call Myra Crosby, and listen to what she had to say. One time it was totally made up about some Facebook page. The second time, inexplicably a anonymous email came to the judge. We weren't told about it. It was investigated by the Attorney General's office and SWED without us being involved. No guardrails on that. But I mean, and call us naive because we were. We didn't press that. And I look back on it. We should have, with 20/20 hindsight, we maybe should have taken a little more aggressive. But we still couldn't have peeled that onion back then. But we will now.
Hey, Dick, question about the retrial. Some have suggested that it may have been a mistake to put Alec on the stand. Any thought to whether you're going to put him on the stand in the retrial?
Two things. One, the client makes that decision. Two, that'll be a game day call. So you'll know when we know.
When will any retrial take place?
I would suspect within a year of now, but not by the end of the year. No, hell no.
And why is that? Why can't you go right to trial?
Well, I'll give you a couple of simple examples. One, we assume the same witnesses will testify in the retrial as the trial. We have a, 8,000-page transcript. We've got to break out each witness. We've got to read it, whoever's going to handle that person, outline it, and they can be used to impeach them. So, this is like a civil case where you've taken a deposition. Unlike any other criminal case you'll ever defend or prosecute. So that takes time. We've got to go back and see if they've given us all the discovery. There's some inference that we didn't get everything from the prosecution. We go back and scrub that real hard. We've got to hire experts. They've got to look at all the information, new experts, and then give us an opinion.
Do you have enough money to hire new experts?
Jim, why don't you explain financially how this works? He's got a much better explanation for this than I do. Go ahead.
I mean, there is no new money, no found money, and I've said previously, we got paid to do a job. And we do criminal defense work. And one way you do, you charge by the job. Sometimes you come out ahead, and sometimes you come out behind. But right now we're in the hole, but we got paid to do a job, and we're going to see it all the way through.
You're saying the job isn't finished yet.
The job is not finished yet. We're not walking away from it. So we're going to see it through. That's where we are.
Is there any chance a retrial could happen in Richland County instead of Collison?
One of the things that we're looking at is a motion to transfer venue to a different county. It would have to be, if that takes place and is transferred, it'd have to be in a county that has a very similar demographics as Colleton County, so that would probably exclude Richland County, Charleston County, which I know all of y'all want to go to Charleston.
But it is Charleston is contiguous to Colleton, and one of the factors to be considered. I'm just saying.
Charleston. And so, but, you know, it's not our pick, but that'll be looked at very closely for sure.
Jim, can we talk about new evidence? I know last week you mentioned DNA evidence under Maggie's fingernails, essentially
right.
connected to a male. Can you go into that a little bit more and how that will play a factor in this retrial?
Well, we pointed out during the last trial that they did find a unknown male DNA who was not related to any Murdoch or any of Maggie's family under her fingernail. That was, you know, not really followed up on. We asked that they follow up on that before the last trial. We don't have possession of that DNA, so we can't do anything with it. We can perhaps, with a new case, back to square one, go and seek an order from the court to compel them to send it off to CODIS. CODIS is the national DNA database. So, I mean, if we were in charge and we had the facilities, the forensic lab, they had SLED, and we had search warrant abilities, we would have done things a lot differently and more timely. A lot of that opportunity is lost, and so that's unfortunate.
More optimism of getting that sent to CODIS, do you believe, this go around?
Well, it'll be Chief Justice Kittredge issued an order last week saying he's going to appoint a new judge once the remitter goes down. And that'll be one of the things that we will present to a new judge asking for that relief. Whether he or she will do it remains to be seen.
Jim, you said the lawsuit is about holding Becky Hill accountable and also investigating what you say the state didn't do a good enough job of investigating her. What do you hope that investigation could yield?
The truth.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, just, you know, we don't have a result in mind, but we have a lot of questions that we would like answered.
Yeah, they think that, like, Betty or whatever the hell her name is was, like, talked to and sort of made to do that because they were struggling. I don't believe that at all. I think she just, that was her. She was writing a book on it and everything. Ridiculous.
You know, was she a lone wolf? Was she doing it just for the, you know, siren of celebrity, which she definitely was? And then I'll tell you, this removal of the egg lady juror is very suspicious, and that really wasn't a part of the case. We do make it a part of our complaint. We point out all of the inconsistencies of what she said, reporting to Judge Newman that the egg lady, Ms. Crosby's ex-husband, had posted something on Facebook, which we now know was a bald-faced lie, or someone lied to her. I mean, it makes no sense. And if you have questions, and I would encourage all of you to follow up with Joe McCullough, who represents Myra Crosby, who is investigating this as strenuously as we intend to do so, and he's been working on it for quite some time. I mean, the way she was targeted, it just is very curious, and we hope to get to the bottom of that.
Is there any possibility of taking a plea deal for a lesser charge?
Say again?
Is there any possibility of taking a plea deal for a lesser charge?
No plea deal. No, never will plead guilty. Off the table. We want a trial. Yeah, they can dismiss it.
Yeah, they can dismiss these charges. You know, but he'll never enter into a plea which required some admission that he did something he didn't do, and that's murdering his wife and son. And that's not going to happen.
Who do you think did kill Maggie and Paul?
We wish we knew. We think we could have found out if we had the tools available. I mean, that opportunity was lost when they failed to follow the tire tracks in the grass,
right there,
leading away from the murders of Maggie and Paul. That opportunity was lost when they failed to maintain the integrity of the GPS data on Maggie's phone. Instead, it was at SLED, downloading GPS coordinates at SLED that ultimately overwrote where her phone was and when it was on the night of the murders. And when they finally get into Maggie's phone and able to access the GPS data, you know where it said that phone had been last? Broad River Road, SLED Lab. I mean, that is outrageous that was allowed to happen. So, you know, John, we've gotten a lot of information. People are out there working on behalf of Alec for free, kind of like we are, and they've unearthed some really interesting stuff. And they've turned a significant amount over that to SLED. We'll be curious to see if SLED has done anything with it or will do anything with it.
If any of that investigation now goes back to the house or to the property, or is that a done deal?
There's nothing that I'm aware of that's of evidentiary value on the property.
Let me just jump in and say that the actual scene has been destroyed, right? It's been torn down, the property's been sold, the kennels, all of that are gone, so that's no longer in existence.
But our experts, in preparing for the first trial, did all kinds of forensic tests on the crime scene. A number of, we put into evidence that if somebody could be in the house and shots fired down at the dog kennel, never hear them. I mean, we proved that without any contradiction whatsoever. So the story that he was up at the house and they go, oh, he had to have heard the shotgun and an AR. Not. We had an expert run test. Can't do that anymore. So the uncontradicted evidence is going to be, if he was in the house, he wouldn't have heard the shots. So, I mean, it's those kinds of things. And we've got measurements, I mean, very, very, very specific measurements on where everything was, which, by the way, SLED did not do. You know, the night of the murders, as they processed, it may not be SLED, maybe local law enforcement, they didn't dust for fingerprints in the feed, not dust, they don't do that anymore, but they did not process the feed room for fingerprints. They didn't look for DNA. Was that her hair? Let's pick it up and get it tested. There was a bloody footprint right next to Paul's body. It was a Carleton County Sheriff's deputy's foot. I mean, I'm not a big CSI fan, but this looked to me like they violated every basic rule, and we had a witness testify to that. So, they got a lot of explaining to do.
What do you think the odds are of Alex getting an acquittal in the retrial?
You, John Monk, are playing those internet betting sites too much. I have no idea what his chances are.
I'm not playing them at all.
Well, you ought to try.
What do you think the odds are?
We have no idea. I mean, we don't predict football, basketball, or trials.
Just following up on what Dick said about the failures. During the trial, you'll remember SLED explained how they do murder investigations, and they do, they draw an imaginary circle, and the imaginary circle that they drew here, Alec was in the middle of it. And he was in the middle of it from the night of the murders. And they knew that Alec left Moselle and went to his mother's house at Almeda, and then came back to Moselle and found his wife and son murdered brutally. And do you think for 1 minute that they should have gone to Moselle, Almeda, to see if there's anything of evidentiary value? Were there murder weapons at Almeda, which they want to intimate, during the trial? Oh, he parked over here, so he must have got rid of the guns over there. I mean, they had the opportunity to exclude Alec from that circle, but they didn't do it because they just failed so miserably in what their jobs were.
Let me say one other thing that brings to mind. As most of y'all know, I was a prosecutor for 12 years, and this is 40 years ago. If a body was found and they wanted to determine time of death, the coroner or medical examiner would take an anal thermometer and get a core body temperature, then take a thermometer and get the ambient temperature. And in this case, alleged an hour and a half prior they'd been killed, sort of. The coroner showed up, and he did something that just amazed me. He took his hand and he stuck it under Paul's armpit, and then that same hand stuck it under Maggie's armpit, and he could calculate the time of death based on that. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, folks. Stuck his hand under the armpit? Really? And yet, then they say, oh, well, we know when Maggie stopped using her phone and Paul stopped using his phone, that's the time of death. They ignore the fact that cell phone service down there was spotty at best. A number of people testified there was no cell phone service. So simply because they weren't using their phone doesn't mean they were dead. I mean, this thing had more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
In your opinion, what ultimately got Alex convicted?
I think 2.5 weeks of that of widows and orphans and mentally disabled kids testifying, not that he stole their money, but how just maliciously he stole the money, how he lied to them. I mean, when they finish with that, they're not going to believe forensic evidence. They're not going to believe him. They're not going to believe anything because he was so vilified.
And when he testified, the jury was programmed not to believe him by the clerk of court. And so, no matter what he said, I mean, he got on the stand to answer, questions about where he was and what he did that night. And we know now that, as the Supreme Court accurately described, she sought to undermine his credibility before he even testified it. Understand, she's the second highest ranked court official in the trial. And she has closest contact with the jury, develops close relationships with them over 6 weeks. And, she is the one that they see more, she's the elected official. She summoned them all in. Her name's on the summons. Her name's on the check that they get to payment every week for serving on the jury. I mean, and this person is back there in the jury room telling them in so many words, don't believe Alec when he testifies. Don't believe the defense. Don't let them confuse you. All of that happened at the end of the trial right before we put up our case. So that is one reason he got convicted, I promise you.
You mentioned new evidence. If you already addressed this, I apologize, but you mentioned new evidence that you're going to bring out. You mentioned DNA found under Maggie's fingernail. Is there other new evidence?
Well, let me say this. If there is, we tell you, I know you're not doing this intentionally, but you'll be telling them. So I don't think we tell you. How about that?
Fair enough.
Maybe not unintentionally. Never mind. Anything else?
Do you think that Becky's done this with other trials before down in Colleton County?
Well, you don't know, do you? That's why this lawsuit is so important, because it's going to allow us to peel the onion on her and what she's done on this case with other people involved. Was she a lone wolf? Has she done it on other cases? But certainly, it was a despicable act, and the Supreme Court found it to be such. Anything else? Thank you very much for coming today.
Yeah, I would say if Becky in the lawsuit ever implies that, and it's somehow proven that the state had something to do with it, I mean, I think it's possible they would throw this whole case out. But I don't think that's how it happened. At all. And actually, the prosecutor was on Fox News right after this, talking about it. It's pretty interesting. But I think that's going to do it, you guys. Don't have much more to... You have any more questions or anything? I thought the University of Washington case was really interesting. Unfortunately, nobody knows about it because they don't watch anything unless it's about Nancy Guthrie. Let's see... Yeah, and then Paul had the lawsuit with the boat and everything. Yeah, their whole family is just a pile of shit. I mean, that's the truth. The only person I cared a little bit about was the mother. Okay, I had no sympathy at all for Paul getting blown away. He was just an absolute dirtbag of a person. Just one of the worst type of people that you could ever imagine. And I mean, their whole family is really. Their entire family is made up of just disgusting, disturbing people, and I don't get it. You know, somehow, you know, of course he's going to say, I didn't do it. But he did do it. I mean, the evidence says that he does it, you know. He said that he was somewhere else, and then they actually have him on audio right next to the kennels just before the shooting happened. Well, the cell phones are spotty, you know. And no, he was right in the middle of talking to like a friend. They were going back and forth, and then he stopped right around that time. So, anyways, thanks everybody, and special thanks to Betty Black out there. You made a big difference. Yeah, that's such a struggle again, you know. Thanks, Allie Cake and Carol Silva and Eloquent Pirate became a member again. That's Erica Pillsbury. She's the one. Oh, there she is right there. She's, you know, at her daughter's, I think it's like a burglary trial or whatever you want to call it. But it's really just sort of a setup for the next trial of, you know, unfortunately, the murder of her daughter. And, in Mercedes Vega. In that case, that one's crazy, you know. I can't wait to get all the information of, like, how it all went down, you know. I don't know if I've seen the probable cause. Do we in that one? Usually has a lot of the stuff in it, but I don't know when that'll be. Probably a year after this one, I would imagine. But I've watched a little bit, like 2 days worth. Just kind of have it on in the background. But I hope everybody, you know, when that one goes to trial, we'll have to cover it on here. And I want to, not have to is not the right word. I mean, I'm just saying, like, euphemistically saying that. Let's see. It'd be pretty tough, though, like, if the, like, you know, if we had the two cases that I'm doing, the Charlie Kirk and this one were at the same time. I guess what I could do is I can stream live on two at the same time. Believe it or not. Like, I can actually stream two different streams live at the same time. You just have a different key for both of them. So I can use this laptop over here and do one trial and then do another one on the other one. You know. I don't know. You know, I'm kind of just assuming they're not going to be at the same time. But anyways, also, yeah, thanks. And then Whiskey Boots. Then Wild Bill Wassman, Jim Lawn, Shelly Pink. I'll see you later on. All gifted memberships, and Alley Cake, then Jim Lawn, then Wild Bill Wassman, then Wild Bill gifted one, then Betty Black, then Wild Bill Wassman, then Chicken Wing, Lori Bach, Shake My Head, and then Betty Black gifted 10 memberships. And then I gifted 5, and then Betty Black gifted, did another $20 in Super Chats. So there you go. And then I also had Lisa Valenzuela did 2 coffees. And then, oh yeah, then Timothy Cecil did a Cash App. And then we had Sandy Shirley do a PayPal. So we didn't quite make the minimum goal, but you know, we got up and, you know, we were about 40 short, so we got close to it. Yes, Sandy, I just said it. Yeah, just wait for me to go through them all. I did it. Let's see. All right, well, that's it, you guys. Thank you very much for being here. The trial, though, that's going on right now, that Erica Pillsbury with her daughter, it's not a public thing, but I can watch it on this, like a, you know, just sort of on the side on a it's like it's not publicly streamed, let's just put it that way. It's pretty interesting though. They have surveillance footage, and one you can actually see Mercedes talking to the cops on a body camera about what happened, and it's probably pretty difficult, I would imagine, for Erica to see that surveillance footage, I would imagine. You know, I think it would be weird right now if I could see a video of my brother, you know, like if he was talking, just of any kind. It might be kind of cool, but then at the same time, if it was something happy, but if it was like, you know, it's a video of her upset about something, so it's probably not great. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Put some positive vibes out there to Eloquent Pirate. Yeah, for the, you know, get a good verdict in that. It's really important, actually. It's crucial to have a guilty verdict in this trial. So anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Everybody for helping support the channel. Whoever was able to do so. Thanks, Sandy. Everybody else. Betty Black. I just thanked everybody. I'm not sure why I'm doing it again, but thanks everybody.